this is Kiwi Rider. Today I'm going to take you on a walk around on my 2019 Iron1200 Sportster, affectionately known as Black Widow.
Mrs. Kiwi Rider.
So this is my 2019 Harley-Davidson Iron1200 Sportster, otherwise known as the XL1200NS. She's in Twisted Cherry, which is one of my favourite colours and a big reason why I was drawn to this bike to begin with. Another feature that I loved about this bike more than some of the others was the blacked out nature of the no chrome. So yeah, I was really drawn to this bike for that reason. So her name is Black Widow, and it was a long drawn out process trying to find the right name. In fact, I put it out there to the Instagram community to give me some ideas of what they think I might call her. And at the end of the day, Black Widow seemed most fitting. And the reason for that is she's got this beautiful dark red down the middle and she's black everywhere else. And she just seemed really badass. So it was the perfect name, in my opinion, for this particular bike. So let's look at some of the reasons why I chose this bike, because I was honestly looking at so many different Harley-Davidson bikes to choose from, and I settled on this one for a number of reasons. As I said before, one of the first things that drew me to the bike initially was the paint colour. Absolutely love this Twisted Cherry. And the blacked out nature of the bike. I'm not massive on chrome, so that really drew me to it to start with. I liked the feel of this bike because it was light. I was coming from a bike that was just 250cc, so it was a very light bike, and I like the fact that this one's nice and light and easy to maneuver. It was low to the ground, so I can flat foot it very easily, no problem, standing or sitting. That's one of the big things for me, is being able to plant my foot on the ground and feel secure and not feel like I'm going to drop my bike. One thing I wasn't so keen on was the mid controls. Now I know a lot of the Sportster lovers out there love the mid controls on their Sportsters. For me, I wanted forward controls, so that was one of the things that I did differently on this bike when I made it mine, is I paid for the forward controls, which for me, the position of my leg just feels right and is a lot more comfortable, and you can take the corners just as easily, I find. So let's talk about the ride. The bike I had before this was very low to the ground. It was just a very light 250 Suzuki, and so I was upgrading to a much more powerful bike, and I was a little bit nervous about how I would go. My very first ride, some of my thoughts on that were, there was a lot of vibration I found in this bike, which I wasn't used to, particularly through the foot pegs. I could feel it vibrating, but there's a lot of power there, so I'm not surprised. I got aftermarket pipes, so the pipes are very, very loud, a lot louder than stock, but we'll talk about that later. But man, I had nothing to worry about. One of the first things I noticed was how well she's planted on the road. Like she just feels like she's cemented on the road and she's not going anywhere, and she just takes the corners so easily. It's like the bike knows where it wants to go. It's just amazing. And we take it on a lot of twisty roads, a lot of tight turns, a lot of hills. And the other big noticeable difference is the power I've got. So I can overtake up a hill without even trying. You know, it's super easy and super fast when you need to be, and just cruisy the rest of the time. It's brilliant, I love it. One point to mention on this bike is no fuel gauge, so you need to keep an eye on the kilometers in my case, or miles if you're have a bike that's in miles, you need to keep an eye on that because there's no fuel gauge. So I just keep my trip meter set at 0 when I fill up, and I keep an eye on it. Roughly it takes around 200 kilometers, but I think it can take more than that actually. I just haven't let it run out. This bike is a big head turner. I think it's largely due to the Vance and Hines big radius pipes. Even the guys at the shop couldn't believe it, how loud it is. And before you ask, yes, I do wear earplugs. This is the stock seat. I quite liked the look of it when I saw the bike initially. It's got really good padding. I like the fact that there's this lumbar support here, so you don't feel like you're going to go flying off the back of the bike when you rev it up. This seat is actually really comfortable. I don't have any issues with it. I'm sure there are more comfortable seats around, but for a stock seat, I think it's really good. I can ride comfortably in this seat for a good 2 to 3 hours before I start getting kind of sore and needing a break. So I think it's pretty good for stock seat. Okay, I'm going to walk you through some of the aftermarket changes I've made. Okay, so one of the very first things I definitely wanted to do on this bike is change it from mids to forward controls, so that's what we did. They picked these ones up from another bike in the shop. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, why that's even there. They just took them off another bike, so if anyone knows what that's there for, you can certainly let me know. I scrape it so many times it freaks me out. But I find the forward controls are so comfortable and I really enjoy having them there, so that's what I've got. Okay, so another thing that I wanted high on my list of must-haves was new pipes. One of the reasons behind that was I wanted it to be loud, I wanted to be heard, and I want people to know that I'm on the road, so hopefully they hear me, they see me. I went for Vance and Hines big radius pipes. I really love the look and obviously the sound. In fact, they're so loud, I'm thinking of getting baffles because they're so loud, but you can hear me for sure. Obviously I got them in black, but they do them in chrome as well, and I'm really happy with them. So another aftermarket change I made was the Sissy Bow on the back. This is a Harley-Davidson brand. It's a quick release system, so you can take it on and off quite easily. I haven't actually taken it off, so I'm not going to show you that today. But the main reason I got this was not for passengers. Obviously I don't have a passenger seat, but it's for luggage. So if I want to go away, or if I want to tie anything on the back, I've got something to tie it to. One mistake that I have made, I've only used it once, and the bag that I got has actually damaged some of the paintwork on here. Not hugely, but enough to be noticeable, so I'm going to have to look for a remedy for that soon. Another aftermarket part, one of my favourites, is this Willie G skull fuel cap. I really love it. I know that some Harleys have an issue with the fuel cap rattling. Never had that issue with this one. Fits beautifully, looks kick-ass, and yeah, I love it. Finally, one of the other absolute must-haves for me on this bike, heated grips. I got the Willie G branded ones through Harley-Davidson. Man, they're good, they're so good. So the 0 to 6 in terms of settings, all you have to do is turn this dial so you can do it really easily while you're riding. The advice that I was given was to start them on 6, let them heat up properly, and then just turn them down as you need to. They get really hot. They don't completely solve all of my numbness because I'm still getting the cold wind on my hand on the outside, but man, these basically mean I can keep riding for a lot longer in winter than I normally can. So these handlebars are mini apes. They come as stock on the Iron1200. I really like them. I didn't feel the need to change them up. I know lots of people do like to change their bars. I've found them really comfortable. I haven't had any issues. They're good for me for riding. I feel like my arm's at a good angle. I don't think I've felt fatigued at all with these particular bars. Sometimes I do put my arms down, or I change my hand position from time to time, but the bars themselves are really good. I really like these mirrors. I find they're really stable and I have a really clear picture behind me, which in comparison to my old bike was very different. It was very hard to see in my mirror because it would shake a lot on my old bike. So these mirrors are actually really good. I have seen people have the mirrors that go down below, and I don't know what those ones are like, but these ones are really good, and they just come as stock the way that they are. And the fairing on this bike is also stock. I quite like the look. Some people have changed it up. They've either removed it from the iron or they've put on a different type of shade, like a Memphis shade or a different brand. I quite like it for now. It doesn't give a lot of wind protection. It does a little bit, I think, buffers it a little bit. I did find the wind a bit of an issue when I first got this bike, but I'm used to it now, so it's no biggie. So my overall impressions of this bike, I love it. It's perfect for me. It's nice and light. Absolutely love the colour. I love the black look, all the blacked out nature, and I love the fact that you can customise it, so I can keep getting more and more things and changing things on this. But as it stands, I love it. It's real easy to ride. She's just a fun bike, and she's just bare minimum. You don't need much else, and you can just kick ass on this thing. So yeah, I'm really happy with this bike. If you like this content, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching.